United States lawmaker says President Donald Trump is focused on ending what he describes as the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria. Congressman Riley Moore said recent U.S. airstrikes on terrorist enclaves in Sokoto State were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government, not as a unilateral action. In a post on X, Moore stressed that the strikes were intended to help Nigeria secure its territory and stop repeated attacks on Christian communities. He noted that the airstrikes launched on Christmas Day targeted militants accused of attacking Christians during the festive season in previous years. Moore described the operation as a significant first step towards addressing insecurity and religious violence in Nigeria. Still on the airstrikes, former Sokoto State Governor and Senator representing Sokoto South, Aminu Tambuwal, has appealed to residents of Jabo districts to remain calm and continue supporting security agencies following a recent military operation against terrorists in the area. He made the call on Sunday during the visit to the community after reports of explosions linked to a coordinated operation by the Nigerian military and allied United States forces between December 25th and December 26th. Tambuwal described the incident as unfortunate and expressed sympathy with affected residents, while praying that similar occurrences would not be repeated. He emphasized the need for leaders to be present during crisis to assess situations, reassure the public, and maintain peace and promote unity and trust within the community. For more on this, I am joined by News Central's Jamil Mubai live from Sokoto State to provide updates on the impacts of airstrikes. Also, we have Charles Oludare. Oludare is a public affairs analyst. He joins us from Texas, United States. Welcome, gentlemen. All right, so we're starting off with Jamil. We have been hearing of Jabo community with regards to this strike. Very little is heard of Tangasa community, which was also affected by the strike. Now, what have you gathered so far in these communities?
Okay, the reason why it has been difficult for media houses and other media owners to have access to Tangasa is because of how the place is dominated by the activities of this Lakurawa sect. And what happened in Jabo is completely different, from the other side of the Sokoto South, while Tangasa is at the Sokoto North. And from what we have gathered today while we were in Tangasa is that the strike hit the target compared to the one that happened in Jabo, the case of missing the target. But the one in Tangasa, it hit the center or the camp of the Lakurawa movement. And while we were talking to some of the locals, they told us that why this Lakurawa, how they operate their operation is quite different from bandits. What they do is they come to these communities, impose Islamic levies on them, and preach to them. Then they go back. And over time, then they began to have a sort of collaboration with the bandits along that axis. This I can categorically confirm from sources who corroborated these assertions that there is a likelihood of collaboration between bandits and Lakurawa. While the Lakurawa are training the bandits on weapon handling and supplying them with ammunition, in return, the ransom collected by bandits is used indirectly in funding their activities. When the airstrike happened 2 days ago, locals around the area told us that the Lakurawa sect were seen running towards the forest, and yesterday they began to retreat. Minutes before joining this live, we spoke with one of the vigilante members who was our fifth today. He told us that currently members of the vigilante team are currently engaged in a fierce battle in Tangasa with the Lakurawa sect. This is coming as a shock, even though despite the airstrike, the Lakurawa were able to retreat and reorganize themselves for them to have formed Tangasa local government tonight. So I believe later tonight, by tomorrow, we'll get to have a clear and full picture of what really happened tonight, apart from the fact that happened 2 days ago.
Sorry to cut you off, but let's take our focus to Charles now. Now, U.S. officials insist that the recent airstrikes were carried out in full coordination with the Nigerian government. Now, from a governance and diplomatic standpoint, how credible are these claims, and what does such coordination usually entail?
Yeah, thank you very much. I have seen a lot of people post on social media that they doubt the fact that the U.S. coordinated. But I'm like, the U.S. announced something, and then you saw the NSA go to America. You saw the, U.S. sent a delegation, like the congressman that you just mentioned from Missouri that came to the United States. And then you expect that the ensuing attack is not going to be coordinated with the Nigerian government. They have had a coordination for months right now. So it's just definitely obvious that, they coordinated with each other. And I think this is a very, very good thing for Nigeria from a particular point of view. When you look at those missile strikes, they are quite expensive. So if you calculate it just in dollar terms, it's like they gave us about 1% of our defense budget in a day. That's what the missile strike was worth. So it is a very good thing from an international perspective for Nigeria. The one thing that is still out in the open is the outcome, and that's what I'm sure Jamil is still trying to look at, because we don't know what has been struck. They said there were no casualties. We don't know if there's terrorists have installations that were destroyed or whatever. And the fact that this is an ongoing cooperation also, I think it's a very good thing for the country, because the United States has the muscle, they have the wealth, and they have the power. So if we can have them at our beck and call whenever we need them, that is definitely going to be good. And there will also be no situation with the sabotage that we have been complaining about with our military getting ambushed and all of that stuff. So I think this is a very good from an international point of view from Nigeria in terms of helping us to tackle this insecurity. Where the jury is out is definitely in the outcome, because this airstrike is a means to an end. Have we achieved the ends? We need to have the policing in place. A lot of reporters said that a lot of these militants right now are mobile and they are moving around, which makes them vulnerable, which means that if our ground troops are backing up this area strike that is displacing them, then we can achieve a lot more success. But if we don't have this coordination between our ground troops and these American gifts, I think we might miss achieving the ends that we want to see. And also, the president delaying it until Christmas Day, I think is quite frivolous and might have even given the room for some militants to, escape. But the US is still doing the battle damage assessments, and hopefully they release more information. And I hope the Nigerian, government is also following more pretty closely with this, because it is a good development from the point of view, but also we need to ensure that this development is not just being wasted, that we are achieving the aim of destroying these militants, and also ensuring that, we don't have a repeated attack, all these bomb blasts and all that, we can put it at bay. So it's a good thing from Nigeria, for Nigeria. And we are definitely coordinating with with the U.S. government. And in my own personal opinion, I feel like there's nothing to be lost if we even allowed a U.S. base in that region of the area. They are just going to bring their money and their hardware, and we are going to benefit from it. Countries like Qatar, Bahrain, all these Islamic countries do have a US base in their country. So why can't we allow it and just benefit from definitely the security and the financial benefit that comes with having the US base, somewhere maybe in the Northeast or something, where they can help us in coordinating and training even our soldiers. So it's a good thing that we are cooperating right now. It started, a little bit harsh, but I think it's a good thing that we are cooperating, and I hope this can help put the terrorists, at least for once, on the back foot. Because it seems as if the Nigerian government had been playing, not just the Nigerian government, the Nigerian military had been playing catch up, since we have been more reactive than proactive. So if this can be a proactive measure, and we disperse these people, and then our military men can be mopping them up as they are trying to relocate during this chaos, we might really make a significant movement. So it's a good thing for Nigeria, in my own point of view, and I hope we can just build on it.
All right, so from a public affairs perspective, could foreign-led or foreign-supported airstrikes raise concerns about national sovereignty or create complications for Nigeria's internal security framework?
Oh, no, not at all, because the government said they approved of it, and the government has been coordinating with America long before this first airstrike. I think it was even on Instablog that I read it like 2 days before the what's it called, this airstrike, that the US military had been conducting aerial surveillance. This is area surveillance is very essential. It is going to help you pick out all the terrorist spots. You are going to be able to pick out all the bandits, people that kidnap, the way they go. You can even know their footpaths between the bushes and know how to, go after them. So having this US deploy its own resources, which we don't have, in helping us to surveil and our territory, which we should have been able to do, but for whatever reason we are unable to do, and they are doing it. Like, for us, I think it's a very good thing. It has no local sovereignty of the country will come into question if President Tinubu was saying America don't help us and America shot at us anyways, which they have the power to do. We cannot compete with them on the battleground. But that is not what's happening. The Nigerian government is coordinating with the United States government. They shot a Tomahawk missile that Ukraine has been begging for, and they are still yet to get the help to us to use it. If you calculate the cost of that missile, the missile they used on that day alone, each one is about $2 million. So that is about $24 million, which is about 1% of our defense budget. So if you can have this to use at our beck and call whenever we need it, I mean, that is good for us. So because when it comes to work, the most important thing is logistics. The experts talk logistics. It is amateurs that talk strategy. So we have this at our beck and call. It is a good thing. It has no, downside to it from my own point of view. And whoever is trying to bring all of that is maybe for political reasons or whatever. I mean, I know Sheikh Gumi has been saying a lot of things, and I don't know why anybody still even listens to him. We need this terrorism to stop. The Muslims, I mean, definitely the framing of it as a Christian genocide that the Americans, I think, is a very lot misguided. But because the Muslims are the ones that are feeling the brunt the most, because they are the ones that live with them. So this is good for the Muslims. This is good for the Christians. This is good for everybody. But it will not solve our problem, because our problem is policing. And if we don't police, we will not be able to even have enough intelligence to tell the US military where to go. If we don't police effectively, we are not going to be able to resolve the conflict that causes the Christian elders, attack in the Middle East. If we don't give the people the power to determine their own security and create whatever framework they think works for them, we will not solve our problems. But in terms of affecting our internal security, no, our president agrees to it. The Americans are giving us a gift. From just dollar terms, like I said, it's a lot. So it is a good thing. We should all work on it.
Sorry to cut you off, Charles. Let's bring Jamil in. Can you give us an idea as to what the climate is in the affected areas, as Jabo and Tangasan so far? What's been the response coming from the people? And according to reports, this incident happened very close to their primary health care facility. Give us an insight to what is really happening to the community dwellers.
Okay, in Jabo community, just like you said, it happens close to the hospital, their primary health care center. In Jabo, to be in particular, the people are not happy with the strike. Why? Because they felt Jabo is a peaceful community. The only problem they had, they had was that of banditry. And for the past 6 months, nothing of such nature has happened. And to them, at one point they are happy that the missile, did not hit any household or anything. It just fell down on the open farmland. And while in Tangaza, the locals are happy. Why? Because of the Islamic way of living that the Lakurawa are trying to impose on them, and now the possible collaboration with bandits, and the alleged bearing of IEDs on the ground, which were yet to confirm, but the sources told us. So allegedly, the people there are happy in Tangaza that the strike happened, and they hope the strike will be sustained and they will be living free of the Lakurawa and the bandits in that area. But one thing that is very, very difficult in that area is the terrain. Tangaza has this mountainous terrain, which makes it difficult probably for military operatives to carry out a more pop operation after the strike. Because we were in Tangaza today and we realized that after the attack, military personnel and security personnel tried to gain access to that area, but at a point in time, they had to withdraw and came back to another local government. That's to show you to have a mop-up, operation is going to be very difficult, but it's possible. And but in general, the people are entirely unhappy with the strike. They felt like it's an attack against the Muslim community, given the fact that Jamil also has a huge, percentage of Christians living in that area. So for them, they are still asking the question: why did the missile? Why was the strike targeted at that particular community? Who were the Americans targeting in that particular area? And what was the purpose? So these are questions, we are yet to find answers to, and they are yet to also find answers to these simple questions. And again, remember, there is another bomb in Jabo that did not go up. And as of yesterday, military personnel were there, barricaded the whole area because the people were trying to use pistols so that they can blow up the bomb and use the aluminium for money. So for the safety and whatever, the military there has barricaded the area to avoid any activities that might lead to more casualties in that area.
Jamil, Mubai and Charles Oludare, public affairs analyst, speaking and giving us more information on the airstrikes that occurred in Sokoto on Christmas Day.